Hello, as always, Masha tells you stories and welcomes you to the 21st episode of the podcast Film Grazia Artis, or just Film if shortly. Here I share tales that inspire and reveal unique experiences of creators, makers and lovers of all kinds. I hope you find this program interesting, whether you practice art or enjoy learning about the way to navigate in the New Year's numbness that is highly increasing these days and search for meaning. As the calendar turns and festive season recedes, many people report a curious emotional state, not sadness exactly, but a muted, flat feeling, an absence of excitement where renewal is usually expected. This experience is often referred as the New Year's numbness, a common but informal term closely related to the post-holiday blues. While it's widely experienced, it's by no means universal, and understanding it can make navigating it much easier. Psychologists regard it as a byproduct of modern change fatigue and the fresh start effect, a state in which the pressure to reinvent oneself conflicts with the nervous system already overextended by the holiday season and wider global stressors. Does everyone experience it? Not at all. New Year's numbness affects people differently. Some transition into January with ease, particularly if their routines remain stable, or if they find comfort in structure and fresh beginnings. Others may even feel a sense of relief when the holidays come to an end. However, many people do experience some degree of emotional dullness at this time of the year. It's particularly common among those who are sensitive to emotional transitions, those who invested heavily in the holidays, socially or emotionally, and those affected by winter's shorter days and reduced sunlight. Cultural pressure also plays a part. The expectation that the new year should feel hopeful, productive, or transformative can make ordinary, low-energy emotions feel like a personal failing. Importantly, feeling numb in January does not mean that anything is wrong. It often reflects the nervous system adjusting after a period of heightened stimulation, social connection, and anticipation. By the way, it may be curious to ask, what does this numbness really mean? Rather than signaling emptiness or failure, New Year's numbness is often a pause, a moment of recalibration. After a period of emotional intensity, the mind and body may temporarily downshift. In this case, numbness can be protective, creating space to recover before engagement and motivation return. This state is usually temporary. For most people, it eases as routines stabilize, daylight gradually increases, and the life regains a sense of rhythm. It is worth highlighting how to navigate this feeling. The key to moving through the New Year's numbness is gentleness, not force. First, naming the experience without judging can be powerful, reconsidering this as a common transitional state rather than a personal flow. These reduce the pressure to fix yourself immediately. Second, it helps to let go of the idea that January must bring clarity or enthusiasm. Rather than ask and bake future-oriented questions, focus on what feels neutral or gently supportive in the present. This shift reduces emotional strain and allows energy to return naturally. Grounding through the body is often more effective than overthinking. Simple sensory experiences, warmth, gentle movement, familiar music, or time spent outdoors can help restore a sense of presence when emotions feel distant. Maintaining small, predictable routines also matters. Regular sleep, meals, and a few daily anchor habits provide stability when motivation is low. This is not about productivity, it's about continuity. Connection too can be quieter than usual. Being with others does not require enthusiasm or deep conversation. Shared space, brief messages, or low-effort contact can maintain connection without causing emotional strain. Finally, it's useful to remember that meaning often follows action, rather than the other way around. Small, values-aligned actions taken without waiting to feel inspired can gradually reawaken emotional engagement. Think of the process as thawing rather than restarting. Art is often especially attuned to periods of emotional stillness. When the intensity of the year comes to an end, what remains can feel like an empty canvas, full of potential yet unsettling in its quiet. Where others might experience rest, artists often feel pressure to respond, to begin, to transform silence into meaning. When nothing arrives, nervousness can replace inspiration. Rather than signaling creative failure, this state often marks a threshold. Many artists across disciplines and generations have learned to regard such emptiness not as void, but as necessary phase. Creative numbness often appears between bodies of work. The previous language has run its course, yet the next has not yet formed. This liminal space can feel uncomfortable precisely because it resists articulation. Recently, I received a gift from a friend, a book illustrated by the talented artist Sasha Balashova. Her lovely collection of illustrations binded into the work called The Blank Canvas speaks directly to the state using no words at all. The book contains no written text. Instead, embroidered illustrations unfold page by page, offering space rather than instruction. The absence of words does not indicate a lack of content. It increases a container for reflection, reappraisal, and contemplation of one's own crisis. Burnout or creative blocks, welcoming a breath of fresh air. The work resists urgency and invites the viewer to sit with uncertainty. This approach, making space rather than feeling it, has deep roots in artistic practice. We can observe this in the empty canvas period of Agnes Martin, who believed that clarity could not be forced. She often waited through long stretches of silence before beginning a new painting, regarding stillness as an integral to the work itself. Her restrained grids, now iconic, emerged from patience rather than momentum. For Martin, waiting was not an activity, it was attentiveness. At times when emotional resources feel limited, many artists turn to material repetition and craft. Louise Bourgeois did the same. Particularly later in life, working extensively with fabric and sewing, stitching became a way to think without language, to process memory through the body. Like embroidery, the act itself held meaning without needing explanation. Periods of numbness often led artists to subtract rather than add. Samuel Beckett, after decades of literary density, radically reduced his language. His later works approached silence, carrying weight precisely because of what is withheld. In visual art, Robert Ryman's white-on-white paintings reject spectacle. Their subtle variations invite slowness and attention, demonstrating that restraint can be as deliberate as excess. Some artists respond to emptiness by creating frameworks that contain experience rather than explain it. Yoko Ono's instruction pieces offer open-ended prompts, allowing meaning to unfold in the participant's mind. What connects artists who navigate this period successfully is not constant productivity, but trust in creative cycles. They accept slowness, confusion, and emotional flatness as veiled states. Rather than forcing insight, they allow form, repetition, or silence to do the work. Their success lies not in escaping emptiness, but in integrating it into their practice, rethinking the blank canvas, which by itself does not ask to be filled, it asks to be listened to. What may appear as emptiness at the start of the year is often a necessary pause rather than a lack. For artists, this interval of stillness allows previous forms to dissolve and new languages to emerge. By remaining attentive to the blank canvas rather than hurrying to fill it, artists transform uncertainty into a space for reflection. In this way, silence, restraint, and waiting are not obstacles to creation, but conditions that make it possible. Allow yourself to enjoy the brief pauses rather than rushing to escape them, for it is through these small periods, which may feel like emptiness, that you create space for clarity and motivation. Then, make a beautiful first stroke on your blank canvas, and I will be back soon.